I'm going to start with this. I have been concerned about this legislation from day one. And for one of my fellow councilors to intimate that I did not have the best interests of the members of this business community at heart, and that my level of concern didn't raise until it came to the National Guard, I just resent that being said that. I even mentioned how Jensen Arms has been a great corporate citizen in supporting one of our nonprofits. Now, I'm not, I'm no longer a gun owner, but I grew up here in Colorado. I grew up over on the Western Slope, and I guarantee you that the only way that we put food on the table was with a gun. We were poor. We couldn't afford to buy beef. Until I was about 18, I don't think I ever had a real steak from a cow. I grew up shooting, and I quit shooting when I got too busy, when I moved to Loveland. So I know what it is to be a gun owner. I know what it is what it's like to have a family that continues to own guns and continues to hunt. And my comment about the National Guard was that the fact that when our police chief brought that up, that raised my level of concern to another degree. But on the other hand, this discussion in this country has been polarized. And we have not tried to come up with the right solution to deal with evil people who utilize these guns. About a year ago, I attended a conference with our police chief and our city attorney. And I asked them to bring that training here. And I asked that there be some additional work done on that Community Disruptors program. Because in my estimation, that is step one to hopefully keeping some of these tragedies out of our communities. Unfortunately, we've not gotten much traction, in my opinion, on that Community Disruptors program. And what that is that there's a very highly intelligent individual that has gone into every one of these after the fact, every one of these incidents after the fact, to find out what the problems were and how they came to be. And in every one of those instances, there was enough information to have prevented these tragedies in most of the cases. And there's ways to make that happen so that that information is funneled to a central location. And instead of getting wrapped around the axle over who's right, who's wrong, gun control, Second Amendment this, Second Amendment that, we ought to be looking at real programs within our own community to start with, to make sure that these tragedies don't happen. And I'm going to tell you why I'm really interested in that. I'm going to ask you to listen to me for 1 minute to a police report that I have right here in my hands that happened right here in this city. I'm going to read it, and I'm going to leave the addresses off, and I'm going to leave the names off. Criminal mischief, where suspect adult male has the potential to cause great harm. He was recently investigated by officer reference damage to his neighbor's vehicles and house. Initial investigation led us to believe he was firing a pellet gun from his second-story window at the victim's property, doing so while the wife and child were in close proximity. The victims also stated that they were sure that the suspect was using a silencer on an AR-15, firing from his rear bedroom area at night into an adjacent field. Today, An officer with a warrant in hand arrested suspect with the warrant stipulating that not have access to weapons and also have a mental health evaluation done. We took 9 assault rifles out of the house today and did find a silencer in the residence and a good deal of ammo to fill a truck. Thank God for our police department, and thank God for those neighbors who reported that individual. Now, I do not want to be sitting here in this chair as the mayor of this great city and have an incident. So we better start looking at this just from a reactionary standpoint and become very proactive in trying to come up with right programs. And I think it can be done. We've got the creative people right here to be able to do that. And with the right help, we can get it done. And that's my charge to this council tonight. I was not satisfied with the response we got from the governor, but that I will also tell you that I was not satisfied with the response I got from the governor on several other bills. And I will tell you that I am dead on with you on bad legislation. I do not like that. And I will tell you that I dislike legislation when it's bad when we do it. And we've done it. And I don't like it. And I'll speak up when that comes around again. So, I'm willing to write this letter, and I want it to be specific enough that says we've got these economic impacts for our citizens and for our businesses, and we can verify what that is. We've got the ability to do that. And I want to make sure that we are very specific about how it impacts our police department and how they need to do the job. And I'll look forward to seeing that draft. So with that, Terry, roll call, please.
Lassen,
Eventually.